Welcome to FSOD Coach's Corner. I'm Bruce Badgley, my buddy Darryl Daniel, and a good friend of the program, Jeff Lang, head coach of Governor Mifflin. Coach, thanks so much for taking time out of this busy week to talk to Darryl and I.
Sure thing.
Well,
It's
I tell you what,
definitely an honor.
well, I'll tell you what. Darryl and I, obviously we've all known one another here for a bit, but why don't you talk a little bit about, the last couple of years here with Governor Mifflin? It seems like there's been this, crescendo of, the team and, the players and everything. And now it all seems to be really, kind of hitting on all cylinders thus far, 4-0, Mercy ruled 4 tough teams. Talk a little bit about, Governor Mifflin football.
Yeah, I think it's becoming a cultural thing and an expectation amongst the players and classes that are coming through. This group of kids, I've been fortunate enough to know for a very long time. My sons are the same age and played Little League football with them in the Broncos. So I've known these guys for a long time. I knew the guys, below them for a long time, as well as I got to see all their games. So these last 2 or 3 years, I've been around with these kids for a decade plus and watching them play football every weekend and watching their practices, even when going to watch my kid practice and stuff. So, and these kids have always been pretty special. They have a tight bond, and they've been winners in the Broncos program. They've been winners in junior high, the 9th grade program, JV kids. So, as we go through, it's an expectation from these kids to stick together and continue playing, and and winning is just a part of that. At the end of the day,
I think, like you said, the biggest thing, and obviously over the years we've talked about it, is the culture there. You guys, even in practice, Coach Morrissey, and then, I've always talked about how I love his energy, but you guys set the tone in practice, and I think that's what sometimes separates you guys from everyone else. One question I would have: what do you feel is the biggest difference from this team this year to the team last year? I know we talked about a little bit of summer, but I want you kind of talk to the
even
fans
more
about
of the. I think even more of the expectation. I think last year's team set the tone of winning and just practicing hard and getting after it and keep holding everybody accountable as a team and family member. And I think that last year's team just continued that fostering, just continued into this year's group, and they're spreading it down to the younger kids. And so I just think this year's it's a total expectation to continue doing what we're doing right now. Last year's team, I think we would have been in the same boat having if we would have been able to have an entire full year to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just the 2 classes have just been great groups.
Right, and of course,
and Darryl, even also with you, and that talk kind of speaking back to Bruce's question, you've been around, you come around in the summer, you train some of our guys, and we have them outside for practice. We got them in the morning from 7:30 to like 10:30, 3 hours. We're in the weight room, we're running, we're doing football. And then those guys, I drive away and I might drive back past the school at noon, and they're still out on the field with you doing stuff.
Right.
So it says something about these kids and how hungry they are, and and how much they just enjoy doing this.
Right, and that's, again, like, I think that's the biggest thing too. And last year, though, a lot of your skill position guys, they got that year under the belt. And I think, because obviously Nick Singleton, we don't even need to waste energy because we already know how dominant he is. But usually what happens is when you have a player that's dominant, he's always the focal point. But the cool thing about your team is you have 2 quarterbacks, you have skill position. And we always talk about on the show, you got probably 6 guys on your team that run 4.6 40 or faster. Like, how many teams can say that? And you got 3 guys that run 4.5 or 4.4. So, I mean, I think that is what's really different about your team. Not only you guys physical, but talk about the other athletes you have around Nick Singleton.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Last year, and that's the other part, starting the season, Eden Johnson got with us, the week before the first game. And
right.
When he just grew with the team and they accepted him in, and he is this year, I mean, he's had a whole year under his belt. He is a true leader.
Right.
This kid is something special. I mean, his football, I always say Cameron Stewart had a football IQ off the charts. I think Eden's is even more.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
that's really something to
That's
say.
high praise.
Yeah, he's he's a nice kid. He's a lovable kid, a great character, very well disciplined, great grades, and on the football field, he is a leader. And the
Oh,
kids
yeah.
step up and follow, and they listen. So
Mhm.
I'd like to throw. I don't know who's all listening to this, but some of these colleges, they are missing the boat on this kid because
Yeah,
he doesn't have the big speed numbers and all that stuff that when he goes to those combines, but he's one of the best players on the football field.
right. Well, don't worry about it.
He's the best football player on the football field.
Don't worry
Well,
about
he
the off season. We'll work on that in the off season.
Yeah.
We'll get him somewhere where he needs to be because again,
Definitely.
like he's like Bruce and I always talk about. He is tough. He's physical. He's fat. He can change direction. Like you said, he doesn't have the 40 speed, but he's a gamer and he doesn't get caught on the football field. And that's all that matters.
Right.
He made that intercept, that acrobatic interception right in front of James Franklin.
Yeah.
Right.
I even said
Hey,
on the
well, Franklin was in Friday morning for a half an hour. We sat and talked, and I told him about it. I said, colleges are missing the boat on this kid. He doesn't have those numbers, but I'm telling you what, this kid, I could see him playing for Penn State in their backfield, defensive backfield, as a sophomore, junior, senior, easily.
Yeah,
He's that smart and that aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's talk a little bit as well about your coaching staff. I mean, we know these guys or what have you, but I see coaching staffs all over the place. I mean, they're off the charts during the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just frothing at the mouth. They're just like going nuts over 2 and 3 yard gains. I mean, talk a little bit about your coaching staff.
Yeah, I
how
will.
they're
First,
influencing your team.
because I really believe that's where this is everything starts. And these guys, we've been together for 12 to 15 years, a lot of us, with Mike Vecchio running the defense. We picked up Nick Morrissey about 5 or 6 years ago. Gary Mitchell's been around for 15 plus years. He was an old Reading coach. Jansen Lynn, I mean, Mick Morrissey's dad, Mick Morrissey, who's been all over the place. Brandon Orndorff and Doc Vecchio, man, those are the guys. They have these kids all day during class and strength class, so they see them all day long and they push them pretty hard, and they just have this special relationship with them, and they get hyped on the sideline. The kids get hyped on the sideline, and it really does come from the coaches do a great job. I mean, they're not just cheerleaders. They know their stuff. They get the job done with their positions and stuff. And but boy, they got some spunk, and kids definitely buy into it.
They're during a game. I mean, they're just so lathered up and are just they're just I don't know. They're just wild out there, but yet it's controlled. I've never seen a coaching staff, quite honestly, that is just so intense, but yet so controlled in the way that they deal with the guys. They never lose track of what's going on.
Right.
But yet they're just so totally into the game, aren't they?
Right. I say, hey, we're kids at heart. All of us are kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's what keeps us young, coaching, I think keeps us young and, hanging out with the kids and just having a good time with them and, trying to have some fun ourselves. It's an excitable game. And if you can't get excited about being on the sideline and some things going on, you shouldn't be in it.
Right. I have a 2-part question for you. Like, again, I've been around the program for a number of years, and obviously I work with Nick and all those guys. The first question I have, like Nick and his senior leadership, I was able to see that on the field, at practice, and how he's getting the young guys involved, and he's talking, make sure they know, hey, go ahead and step in, take this rep. I want to see if you know what you're doing. How has his leadership been as a senior this year?
Oh, it's great. He's been doing it this year again. We gets Aiden Martin jumps in, it's kind of his backup. We have Tyler Harder, and he'll put those guys in there, when it's his play off, like he's not flaking off and not paying attention. I mean, he's in there watching where he's at. Hey, you did this wrong, you got to do this. So he's coaching those guys. He's helping out. So he's an extra pair of eyes, and the kids obviously respect the heck out of him. So he definitely brings a lot of leadership to our team.
And then my second part too, another thing that we talked about, the offensive line being a little bit younger, a lot of new guys. What do you think the difference is having those guys prepared? Because again, a lot of those guys are first-time starters. Why do you think they're doing such a good job this year? What do you think the difference is?
Because they are so afraid of Coach Morrissey and myself.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it.
Maybe
They're afraid of Saturday morning or Monday afternoon film session. That's what they're.
Oh yeah.
No, I should not. I'm only kidding. No, they
Yeah.
just trust me. It's been a project since last
Yep.
January.
Mhm.
The only young guy on that line really is Clayton Reynolds at left guard, who's a junior. I shouldn't say it. Aiden Young is also a tight end, and he's a junior. But other than that, they're seniors, and we've been working and moving people and kind of shifting things around and trying to see the best fit for everybody since January. And it's just been a lot of hard work and out underneath the chute all summer long, coming off the ball, and just repetition after repetition, thousands of reps of running our option stuff and coming off the ball and getting head play side and combination blocks and zone block type things that we do. And it's just taking a lot of work. And those guys have bought in. They've seen the success. They're excited to block for Nick and Eden and Aiden and Trey and and all Gallon and those guys. So they're excited. They love to be in the game. Daxon Washington's been there and they're doing a lot of stuff at tight end for us, real strong kids. So yeah.
I think that's big too. Because like you said, when you know what you have, like, again, I'm not going to beat the dead horse. We've talked about it. But when you have the athletes behind you, those guys know all I literally have to do my job for 2 to 3 seconds.
That's right.
And that's what you guys are preaching. You can't do your job for 2 seconds.
Right.
So go as hard as you can for 2 seconds and watch what happens behind you. And I think that's what you see in every single game.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that watch behind you, man, they got chewed out pretty good for that during our scrimmage because they were getting on their blocking and just watching them, what they're doing. Yeah. We'll watch a film on Saturday or Monday. We decide to do that. You go to the whistle, and it's impressive when you watch a lot of our game film. These guys are downfield. They know, hey, I could be a touchdown block, and coach is going to talk about that during film and praise me and all that stuff. So they're hustling downfield, trying to get in front of people and be that touchdown block.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Speaking of putting some stuff on film, you put 3 touchdown passes on film. I
mean, that was go ahead.
No, I mean, that's making these teams defend the whole field. I mean, how in the heck? I mean, are they going to defend when you can, lob it over there? Now, granted, a one grab by Aiden was pretty incredible. And then Nick had that over the shoulder one going out of bounds. I couldn't believe it wasn't a first down. But then, the wide open tight end on 4th down. I mean, you're really making these teams got to be pulling their hair out.
We have a lot of play action passes off all of our plays, and we know we have to because teams like what Harrisburg did. One of the ways they think they're going to stop us, they're going to put 11 guys in the box. Heck, sometimes those 2 outside guys aren't even looking at the receivers. They're cheating in 5, 6, 7 yards away from the receiver and just trying to take pitch off, take Nick away when we pitch on the option and stuff or run toss. And they're not even looking at the wide out. So, I mean, we got to take advantage of teams that are going to do that to us. And obviously we're capable of doing that.
Right. And I think, again, last question for tonight, but I think the biggest thing, which has been really cool from 3 years ago to now, how much you guys have changed the offense and changed what you've done a little bit and still doing the same thing. Because again, you had to tweak because of the athleticism you had. And it's really cool because this is what we're going to do. We're not changing. We don't care who we have, but it's really cool to see. And I think that's a testament to you guys. And that's why you're successful, because you say, you know what, we run midline, but we're also going to run this and we're also going to run that. And then we're going to have a variation off of that. And then we're going to do something we've never done, because again, now when you go into a game, teams are like, okay, we can't defend midline. We can't option. We got to run eye. Now we got to. So I think that's really cool. And I think that's a testament to you. So what went into that thought process? Why did you feel you had to change a little bit of what you were normally doing?
Nick Singleton.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, let's face it. We were a lot of offensive formation was what we call wing slot. Yeah. And we're doing a lot of motion. If you watch Army or Navy or those teams, Air Force, they run that option. It's all wing and slot stuff, never eye stuff. And I thought with Nick, we were kind of limited with just option material, but
Right.
you know, when putting him in the backfield as a tailback, we were still able to run that offense.
Correct.
And we've been fortunate to have good fullbacks and Brandon Strouser and Trey Rock the last couple of years here that, you know, they can pound and get those 4 or 5 yards that this offense must get in order for it to work. But
Right.
then now you also add the dynamic of the toss, the power, the ISO, the old-fashioned plays in there that people don't want to run anymore, but they're great. They've been great football plays for decades that that Nick can run. You know, he's a powerful kid coming through the line of scrimmage, and now you get a decent fullback in front of him on the edge or up the middle. They're definitely tough to bring down. And even if you do stop him for 3 or 4 yards, you're taking a pounding.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's what we preach on offense. You know, we want to keep the ball, keep it away from the other offense as much as we can, keep our defense as fresh as we can, because we got a lot of 2 platoon players going right now.
Yeah.
And we're trying to, you know, try to keep the defense off the field, their offense off the field, and just grind and score. And that's been our motto ever since I've been here. And that's a tribute to McVecchio, who basically instilled that in me.
Right.
Yeah, and he's still on the sidelines.
Yes,
there,
he
you
is.
know, I mean, you know, he's still. I love, you know, the few moments that I get to speak to him, you know, before the game. Means a lot to me, you know, and you know, he's still, man, I tell you what, I was listening to him yell on the sidelines last Friday like it was old times.
Yeah, he's a fiery guy. You know, that guy loves football, and that's all you know, that's what he knows what the best. And you know, it's hard to walk away from that excitement on a Friday night. And you know, he loves the kids too. He loves being around the kids and doing his stuff. And you know, he's more than welcome to be around, continuing help as much as he wants. It's funny. I was always a thorn in his side as his assistant, helping him call plays. And you know, you can't send all those guys out for passes. How you can't protect the quarterback, because I was a line coach at the time. Now he's up. Now he's yelling at me. Remember what you always used to say to me? Him and I are always. So it's fun. Him and I get this banter back and forth going on the field, and the kids turn around and they're just laughing at us. You know.
Right. That's awesome.
It is awesome. Well, listen, Jeff, thanks so much for, you know, a little bit of time here. You know, you got a tough road game this week against, you know, Episcopal Academy.
They're really
you
good.
know, a team that you're really not familiar with, you know, but you know, that's a great test. This is what you're going to have to face in November, you know, possibly on the road, definitely against the team you're unfamiliar with. So it's a good exercise. And
this Episcopal team, in Washington, they're very, very well coached. They're 3-0, and they're doing some really good things, and they're very disciplined. I'm very impressed with this team. So it is another test again. It's a championship week, as we preach to the kids every week.
Absolutely.
Trying to go 1-0 again, Governor Mifflin and Jeff Lang. Thank you so much. And, you know, best of luck this week. And, you know, we'll get you on again as we, you know, get into the postseason there, Jeff. Okay.
Sounds great, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. All right. Really appreciate it. Take care now.
All righty.
All right. Bye-bye.